Good news, I slept with an absolute god. Even better news, we hit it off as casual bed partners. Bad news, he just became my new boss. I'm screwed. Again. That searing body pressed against mine once more. Again. I frowned. My mouth said no, but my body clearly had other ideas. I turned and kissed him again. Frederick Gingold and I spent the entire weekend tangled up together, day and night. By Sunday night, he still looked insatiable. I dug through the mess on the carpet for my clothes, shaking my head. No more. I've got an early meeting tomorrow, I can't be late. A new boss is taking over. I need to make a good impression. He lay back shirtless on the bed, looking disappointed. Fine. Next weekend then. Deal. Monday morning, I showed up at the office in a sharp suit and employee badge. Amy Ray, who sat next to me, leaned in to whisper gossip. I heard the new CEO is young and super hot. I didn't care about his looks. All I want is a decent human being. Our last CEO treated us like expendable livestock. I could only hope the new one wasn't a total lunatic. In the conference room, the new CEO made his grand entrance to a round of applause. The moment I saw the man standing at the center, my pupils dilated in shock. It was Frederick Gingold. My weekend bedmate. What are the odds? I wanted to dig a hole and bury myself. Thankfully, the room was packed. He didn't seem to notice me. I tried to disappear into the table. A nudge on my wrist. Amy whispered, "Henry, Mr. Gingold's asking you to speak." Henry Thomas? I blinked back to reality and heard Frederick Gingold call my name. I gasped and slowly got to my feet. The moment he saw me, his face betrayed unmistakable shock. Guilt twisted in my gut. I had told him my name was Thomas Henry. He gave me a long, meaningful look before calmly speaking. "Mr. Thomas, your team is leading this project. Please give us a summary." I gave a brief report. He only asked 2 questions. The second the meeting ended, I practically sprinted out of the room. I'm not kidding. During that short meeting, I had mentally drafted a resignation letter. But then, I remembered the economy. My mortgage. My car loan. And I figured, maybe I could just keep my head down and power through. Back at our desks, Amy was losing her mind. OMG, Mr. Gingold is so hot. Having a boss that good-looking almost makes work bearable. I chuckled. What a low bar. She kept gushing. Even in that dress shirt, you can tell he's got a killer body. Just radiating hormones. Her was putting it mildly. The man had incredible hands too. But the same guy who'd whispered absolute filth into my ear just yesterday was now my CEO. I wanted to flee the planet. Just then his assistant strutted over in heels. "Henry Thomas, Mr. Gingold would like to see you in his office." I stood up, dead inside. "Can the earth explode right now, please?" His office was spacious, the city skyline stretching wide through the floor-to-ceiling windows. "Mr. Gingold, you asked for me?" He looked up from his computer, eyes fixed on me. "Henry Thomas?" "Yes, Mr. Gingold." His eyebrow arched. "Or is it Thomas Henry?" I played dumb. "Mr. Gingold, who's Thomas Henry?" He suddenly smirked, leaning back in his chair with infuriating ease. Cut the act. No way there are 2 people who look exactly alike and have a mole in the same spot. Without thinking, I blurted out, "What mole?" He pinched his earlobe playfully. Crap. There was a mole on my earlobe. And just yesterday, this same man had been kissing it. My expression froze. Frederick's eyes glinted with amusement. Frederick Gingold is my real name, by the way. So that was a subtle jab at me giving him a fake one. Realizing I couldn't keep the charade, I gave a weak laugh. "Wow. What a coincidence, Mr. Gingold." He leaned back, still watching me. "So I'm the new boss you were so eager to impress. If I'd known, I would have kept you all night yesterday." I clasped my hands together like I was praying. "Mr. Gingold, can we just pretend we don't know each other at work? Strictly business?" He nodded, although he didn't look thrilled. I all but fled his office. Frederick Gingold and I were purely physical. To be blunt, we were friends with benefits. 6 months ago, I found out the straight guy I had a crush on was dating someone. Heartbroken, I went to a bar to drown my sorrows. Frederick happened to be at the same table. He looked miserable, and someone had apparently slipped something into his drink. Being the decent person I am, I got him out of there. He, however, was not so decent. He made a move on me. Caught off guard by his looks, and my own mess of emotions, I gave in. We ended up in bed. That first time, we were clearly both amateurs at this. Eventually we got the hang of it. We'd go at it until dawn began to break. After that, we struck a mutual agreement. No feelings. Just bodies. Once a week, every week. Strangely enough, we were perfectly in sync. Every time we met, it was like we were trying to break the damn bed. And honestly, it was a comforting little escape from my exhausting life. We didn't know much about each other outside the bedroom. I assumed he was just another tired corporate grunt like me, working ourselves to death on weekdays, then blowing off steam on weekends. Who would have guessed he was secretly moonlighting as a suit of my company, no less. WTF. For the first time in my life, I dreaded the weekend. Which, of course, meant the week flew by. Frederick Gingold was busy as hell. The only time we crossed paths was once at the cafe downstairs. I pretended to be on a call so I wouldn't have to look him in the eye. Then Friday at lunch, I got a text from him. Where are we meeting this week? We never used the same place twice. Sometimes a hotel. Sometimes the back seat of a car. Sometimes, if we felt adventurous, outdoors. I pulled out the excuse I'd been saving. Sorry, Mr. Gingold. I'm going home this weekend. It's my mom's birthday. He replied. All right. But we agreed to keep work and personal life separate. If it's personal, call me by my name. Heaven help me, there's no separation at all. Especially not when just this morning, I watched him rip into another team lead. Did you come up with this plan using your feet? The room turned to ice. The team lead had to swallow his rage. When it was my turn to present, I was shaking like a leaf. Frederick listened, then calmly asked, This plan sounds impressive on paper. Did you consider whether it's actually feasible? I wanted to scream. Now he expected me to sleep with him? I chose abstinence. Another week passed. Right on schedule, his message came in. Where are we meeting this weekend? I replied, I have to be a groomsman at a friend's wedding out of town. His response came fast. No free time at all? Was he that desperate? Yes. The round trip alone takes 7 to 8 hours. There was no wedding. I was just chickening out. 2 weeks of celibacy weren't easy. On Saturday, I gave in and used some tools. They helped, kind of, but not really. I couldn't stop thinking about Frederick Gingold. The more I thought, the hotter I got. To cool off, I grabbed a cab and went to the office to work overtime. Money cures everything. But the second I swiped my card to get in, my soul left my body. Kill me now. Why the hell was Frederick here too? He stepped out of the break room with a coffee in hand, raising a brow. Out of town? Groomsman? I forced a dry laugh. Wedding got cancelled last minute. Frederick let out an amused snort. Henry, you're avoiding me. I sat at my desk ready to make a run for it. But Frederick saw it coming and called my extension. Come to my office. Let's go over your proposal. I grabbed a folder and knocked on his door. It opened from the inside. He yanked me in with one strong pull. He pinned me against the door and kissed me like a man starved. At first, I squirmed and pushed him away. But the moment that familiar heat surged back, I gave in, kissing him back as the folder dropped from my hands. He scooped me up and kicked open the lounge door in his office. Shirt, pants, gone. From behind me, his voice curled like smoke. Didn't expect to unlock the office play achievement. I will never be able to look directly at his floor-to-ceiling windows or desk again. Outside, the city lights twinkled. Night had fallen without me noticing. Damn that Frederick Gingold, I came here to work. He came out of the shower, water still dripping down his chest. There were marks I'd left behind. The Hunan place downstairs is decent, he said. Let me buy you dinner. I bent down to pick up my battered folder. I'm not hungry. At that moment, my stomach growled like a traitor. Frederick chuckled. Come on. We've both worked hard today. Redefining what it means to work overtime. In the private dining room, I ordered enough food to cover the whole table. The place was pricey. Usually, Amy Ray and I only came here on payday. Frederick ate lightly, but kept piling food onto my plate. I nervously said, "Mr. Gingold, please, don't worry about me. Eat." He paused mid-motion. "We're off the clock. Just call me by my name." I said nothing. It still felt weird. Over the past 6 months, we'd eaten together a few times. But it was always sandwiched between other activities. This? Sitting down for a real meal? First time ever. It all just felt off. I buried my face in food, hoping the act of eating would ease the tension. When we finished, it had started to rain. Frederick Gingold jingled his car keys. "I'll drive you home." I pulled out my phone and opened the ride-hailing app. "It's all right, I'll get a cab." "Yeah, right, 100 people in line ahead of me." Frederick glanced at the downpour. "Hard to get a ride in the rain. Let me take you." So I climbed into Frederick Gingold's Bentley. I opened the rear door. He raised an eyebrow. "You think I'm your chauffeur?" I panicked. Looping around to the front, I offered, "Want me to drive instead?" He chuckled. "Just get in the passenger seat." The whole ride, my mind spun. Getting involved with Frederick Gingold was probably the most reckless thing I'd ever done. I'd always liked to keep my work life and personal life strictly separate. Frederick only knew me, not my background, not my life. That was why I could let go around him. But now that he was my boss, could I still be that relaxed in front of him? Would our coworkers find out? I hated uncertainty. Right before getting out, I summoned my courage and turned to him. "Mr. Gingold, let's end this. No more weekend meetups." Frederick looked puzzled. "Because I'm your boss now?" I couldn't exactly say yes. After all, I still had to work under him. "I just want to stop. It's not sustainable in the long run." His expression darkened. I unbuckled and practically leapt out of the car. Honestly, it didn't feel great. But I shook my head and forced myself not to dwell. Clearly, I was just too addicted to his body. Monday morning, I'd barely sat down at my desk when Amy Ray leaned over, looking distressed. "It's over. Mr. Gingold has a girlfriend." "What?" I asked. There were hickeys on his neck. Amy went on, "Though honestly, it's not surprising. A guy that hot? Of course he's taken." The entire day, our team chat buzzed with gossip about Mr. Gingold's mystery girlfriend. You can tell she's wild. There's more than one hickey. I'm starting to think they're bite marks. Jealous. She's clearly eating well. And Mr. Gingold isn't even hiding it. Looks like he's showing off. Probably his girlfriend marking territory. Too many girls at the office drooling over him. I almost blacked out reading all that. I was the one who bit him. No one knew it was me, but I still spent the entire day on edge. Luckily, I had a business trip to New York the next day. That meant I wouldn't have to face Frederick Gingold for the rest of the week. At the airport, I strolled through the terminal with my suitcase, looking for Mr. Kenley, my assigned travel partner. Wait a second. Was that Frederick Gingold and his secretary? Dressed in a casual outfit, Frederick glanced over with that maddening composure. "Morning, Mr. Thomas." I looked around, confused. "Where's Mr. Kenley?" "He fell ill last minute. I'm taking his place." My brain short-circuited. Not again. To be fair, Frederick was surprisingly nice. He even upgraded my and Linda's economy seats to first class. Over the past few days, I'd come to see that he was actually a great boss. He didn't talk much, focused on facts, not people. Straight to the point always. So much better than our previous supervisor, Mr. Ken. Since he arrived, work had felt smoother, more manageable. Which only made me cherish my job more. We were in New York to finalize a partnership deal. Preliminary negotiations went well, but when it came time to sign, the other side suddenly started playing hardball. At dinner, the client's manager kept pushing drink after drink on me. I was about to give in and chug when Frederick intercepted the glass. "Mr. Fraser, I'll drink with you instead." "No way." I reached for the glass, but he blocked me firmly. The way he did it, something in my chest fluttered. Afterward, I helped him back to the hotel. His steps were unsteady, his eyes half-lidded as he draped himself over me. "Bastard," he muttered. I asked, "Who are you cursing?" "Mr. Fraser," he slurred. If Ralph hadn't made this deal a top priority, I'd have dumped that drink on his face. "Ralph who?" He didn't respond. He was asleep. The next day, the contract was signed. Our flight back was booked for the following day. My childhood friend Gladys happened to live in New York and asked me out for drinks. We caught up at a bar, reminiscing over old times. We left arm in arm, both a little tipsy. "Henry, if you strike it rich, don't forget me." "Gladys, never." As we stumbled along, someone stepped into our path. I looked up, Frederick Gingold, face like a thundercloud. "Mr. Gingold? What are you doing here?" His voice was low. "Where are you going?" "To the hotel, of course." It was already past 11. Gladys lived far away, so I planned to let him crash in my room for the night. But Frederick's expression turned even darker. He pulled Gladys off me like he was swatting a fly. "You're going to sleep with him?" He looked like he was about to explode, offended, almost betrayed. "He gets to? Why not me? Is he better built than I am? Does he have better skills? Do you even fit together?" Ah! I stood there, completely dumbfounded. The way he was talking, it was like I was the heartless player here. I quickly explained everything. Gladys wasn't that kind of friend. Frederick's scowl faded. The fire in his eyes died down. His entire posture deflated. Frederick Gingold and I helped the completely plastered Gladys back to the hotel room. He stood at the foot of the bed, frowning as he looked over at Gladys, now fast asleep. "He's straight, right?" he asked. I nodded. "Yeah." "Why?" Frederick said calmly, "You're gay. Sharing a bed with a straight guy isn't ideal." I'd known Gladys since we were in split-crotch pants. He knew about my orientation and couldn't care less. We were like brothers. Still, I played along. "Should I go ask the front desk for another room?" Frederick was blunt. "Come sleep with me." "Wait a second. Isn't it worse for two gay men to share a bed?" But Frederick didn't give me a chance to object. He gave me a firm push and practically marched me into his suite. I didn't dwell on it. It's not like we hadn't slept together before. I was already here. Might as well sleep. I grabbed a bathrobe and headed into the bathroom. The next second, Frederick followed me in. "Mr. Gingold, what are you doing?" He raised his arms and peeled off his shirt. I swallowed hard. "It's past midnight," he said casually. "It's Saturday now." I made a last-ditch effort. "Mr. Gingold, I told you last week, we're done." He slipped off his pants. I never agreed to that. He grabbed my hand and placed it on his chest. "If you really don't want this, then leave now." Damn it. The next morning, I woke up in Frederick Gingold's arms, my hands still resting on his chest. I sprang up like I'd been electrocuted. Looking at the hickeys scattered across his chest, regret washed over me. Alcohol is evil. Lust is a trap. Frederick stirred, groggy. He reached out and pulled me back into his embrace. "Sleep a bit more." That's when there was a careful knock at the door. I heard Linda's voice. "Mr. Gingold, it's time to head to the airport." I bolted from the bed like I'd just been caught cheating. Threw on my clothes as fast as I could. Frederick, still lying down, looked confused. "Why are you panicking?" "Forget it. Explaining anything to a CO isn't worth the effort." I cracked open the door like a thief, checked both ways down the hallway, and only stepped out once I confirmed it was clear. After getting off the plane, I sent Frederick a carefully worded message. "Mr. Gingold, last night was a mistake. From now on, let's keep it strictly professional." He didn't reply. I threw myself into work. But every time I had to go into his office to report, I'd feel this gnawing nervousness. At least he didn't reach out that weekend. I stayed home, became one with the couch, and met up with friends a few times. Summer had arrived, and with it, mosquitoes. I had 2 red welts on my neck. On Monday, as soon as I got to work, Amy Ray leaned over, eyes locked on my collarbone. "Henry, are you seeing someone?" She handed me her compact mirror. I looked. "Okay, yeah, they kinda did look like hickeys." "Damn mosquito bites," I grumbled. She sighed in disappointment. "What a waste of your face. What kind of gorgeous guy does it take to impress you? She knew I was gay. And of course, the first face that popped into my mind was Frederick Gingold's. I shook my head quickly and laughed it off. Guess fate hasn't arrived yet. Later that morning, I brought a contract to Frederick's office for him to sign. His gaze lingered, burning on my neck. But he didn't say anything, just stuck to business. After work, just as I stepped out of the building, he appeared. He stared at my collarbone. Henry, are you seeing someone else? I laughed helplessly and was just about to explain when he suddenly added, almost pitifully. You said no personal talk at work, so I waited till after hours. Do you know how agonizing these 8 hours were for me? It's a mosquito bite, Mr. Gingold. His face unknotted immediately. Really? If I'm lying, I'm a dog. Not that I owed him any explanation. But seeing how genuinely hurt he looked, I couldn't bring myself to be cruel. Frederick gave me a sheepish look. Sorry, I got a bit emotional just now. To make up for it, let me treat you to dinner? I waved it off. I've got leftovers at home from the weekend. He added, my car's in the shop. Can you give me a ride? No cabs around right now. When the boss makes a request, who am I to say no? So there he was, all long legs and expensive suit, folded into the passenger seat of my cheap little $10,000 beater. Talk about lowering his standards. After half an hour following GPS directions, we pulled into a gated villa neighborhood. He unbuckled his seatbelt and said casually, to thank you, stay for dinner before you go? I'll just head home and eat, I replied politely. There's Australian lobster. Flown in fresh this morning. I hesitated. No, it's fine. Bluefin tuna too. Suddenly, my sad little leftovers didn't seem that appealing. Friend gifted it to me. Can't finish it all myself, be ashamed to waste it. I live here alone. Just me and the maid. Damn it. I unbuckled and followed him out. Frederick's home was massive. The dining table was already set, and the spread looked like it cost a month of my salary. Sensing I might feel awkward, he told the housekeeper to take the evening off. I dug in like a starving wolf. Frederick kept peeling shrimp for me. Out of guilt, I peeled a few for him too. He smiled faintly as he accepted them. We're off the clock now. Just call me Frederick. Nope. Impossible. Not happening. Then out of nowhere he asked, Henry, can you tell me honestly why you wanted to end things? He looked so sincere that I couldn't brush him off. I put my utensils down and answered seriously, I've always liked keeping my work and private life separate. If we keep this up, it'll distract me. You're a good boss. I value this job. Frederick nodded, taking it in. Once dinner was done, night had fallen. He walked me back to my car. Just as I started the engine, he came over and knocked on my window. So, what's your stance on office romances? I blinked. Where the hell did that come from? Did he catch someone in the company dating secretly? I replied, if the company doesn't prohibit it, and both people genuinely like each other, and as long as it doesn't affect others, I guess it's fine. Frederick's face lit up. Got it. Let me know when you get home. The next month was an absolute blur of work. Every day, a fresh cup of coffee and an assortment of snacks appeared on my desk. All things I liked. One day, I even found a neck and shoulder massager mysteriously waiting on my chair. I looked around. Turns out my teammates had them too. I nudged Amy Ray. Who bought all this? Someone hit the jackpot. She beamed and pointed toward Frederick Gingold's office. Mr. Gingold did. He said we've all been working hard with the overtime this month. Soon, our team chat exploded. I swear I'll work here till retirement. Mr. Gingold is the man among men. A king. A god-tier boss. Why can't every woman get her own Frederick Gingold? Even I had to admit, Frederick Gingold was too thoughtful. After the project wrapped up successfully, the company booked a resort to celebrate. With bellies full of food and drink, people started loosening up. A bold coworker, tipsy from wine, asked, Mr. Gingold, we're all dying to know, what kind of goddess is your girlfriend? Frederick set his glass down, looking confused. Who said I have a girlfriend? Amy Ray's smile cracked like shattered glass. Men. All the same. Another colleague chimed in. Totally expected. Guys with that much money go through girlfriends fast. Internally, I felt like defending him. Truthfully, Frederick wasn't a player. And then he added, but I do like someone. The room erupted into teasing and gasps. Amy Ray whispered, "Why do I feel like he's looking in our direction?" My chest tightened. Frederick Gingold? Like someone? I suddenly wanted to know, what kind of person did he like? The more I thought about it, the more agitated I felt. I drank too much. Grabbed a mic. Sang karaoke with my coworkers. I didn't even know what was wrong with me. Why was I singing and dancing when my boss might be falling in love? It was nearly midnight by the time everyone reluctantly dispersed. The new intern, Will, helped me back to my room. A few minutes later, someone knocked. Room service had delivered a bowl of hangover soup. I turned to Will, who was adjusting the air conditioning. "Thanks, Will. That's sweet of you." He looked puzzled. "That wasn't from me." Whatever, I was too drunk to care. I downed it and crawled into bed. "Well, you can go. Thanks for helping me. Good night, Henry." Barely 2 minutes after he left, another knock came at the door. I staggered over to open it and nearly screamed. Frederick Gingold stood there, looking furious. Most of our coworkers were staying on this floor. My brain sobered up instantly. I dragged him inside. "Mr. Gingold, is something wrong?" He spoke through gritted teeth. "The hangover soup. I ordered it." "Thanks, Mr. Gingold. That was really thoughtful of you." But his expression didn't soften. He asked, "Who was that guy? Why was he in your room?" I was already feeling stuffy inside. Now, paired with his accusatory tone, I was getting annoyed. Well now, he thought I was sleeping around again? Damn. In his eyes, was I really that kind of person? Sure, we started out as bed partners. But I'd only ever slept with him. He liked someone else now. Why did he care so much about a former hookup? My face went cold. "Mr. Gingold, it's after hours. I don't think I owe you an explanation about who's in my room or why." That shut him up. His face shifted, clearly embarrassed. "You're right. I crossed the line. I'm sorry." After he left, I heard the sound of a keycard unlocking the door next to mine. He'd been staying right next door. That encounter sobered me up for good. The drowsiness vanished. Before sunrise, while everyone else was still sleeping, I drove back to the city. A while back, I lied to Frederick about being a groomsman at a friend's wedding. Turned out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Victor, my college roommate and the guy I once had a massive crush on, was getting married. He'd only just started dating someone 6 months ago, and now he was already tying the knot, shotgun style. It was like he'd strapped himself to a rocket. I used to think I'd be heartbroken when he got married. That I'd be so crushed I might even consider jumping off a building. But today, I felt calm. Genuinely happy for him. I truly wished him well. Standing in my groomsman tux, watching Victor and his bride exchange vows and rings, I was caught off guard by the sudden thought of Frederick Gingold. It hit me all at once. I liked him. That was why it had stung so much when he said he liked someone else. I let out a long sigh. Should I find a church and beg for forgiveness? Who had it worse than me? Just realized I liked someone, and I was already experiencing heartbreak. After the wedding, I headed home feeling heavy. As I stepped out of the elevator, a shadow loomed in the hallway. Nearly gave me a heart attack. Then the lights flickered on, and I saw the figure clearly. It was Frederick Gingold, the very man haunting my thoughts. I calmed myself and asked, "Mr. Gingold, what are you doing here? How did he even know where I lived? There's something I want to say." "Why not text me? You weren't replying. And you weren't picking up my calls." I pulled out my phone. Dead battery. It had shut off without me noticing. I invited him in. He looked at me serious. "Henry Thomas. I'm sorry. I just found out last night that guy was our new intern. I shouldn't have spoken to you that way, or made assumptions about you. I've just fallen for you. That's why I got so paranoid." Did I hear that right? I jerked my head up to stare at Frederick Gingold, unsure I heard correctly. "What did you just say?" Henry Thomas, I like you. Not just the sex. I like you. Everything about you. Someone pinch me. Please tell me I'm not dreaming. The person he said he liked yesterday. Was it me all along? My head spun. Frederick kept going. You said you like to keep work and personal life separate. But I still have to stay at this branch for another year before I can transfer back to HQ. I didn't want to wait a whole year to confess. And that day, you said you were okay with office romances. So, can I court you? Happiness hit me like a freight train. One moment I was drowning, the next I was flying. I leaned in and kissed him. No need to court me. Because I like you too. And just like that, Frederick Gingold and I started dating. Let me tell you, office romance? It's exhilarating. One shared glance could make my heart race. Whenever I went to his office to report on work, it was strictly business 1 minute. And then the next, I'd be sitting on his lap. All that talk I'd made about keeping things professional, what a joke. But I didn't slack off. If anything, I worked harder than before. Amy Ray, queen of gossip, came up to me whispering excitedly, Mr. Gingold has to be dating someone. I tried to stay cool. What makes you say that? He's been so pleasant lately. I even saw him smile at his phone during a meeting. Yet, because he was texting me, I quietly backed out of our chat. Over the weekend, Frederick planned a date. A yacht trip. I stared at the giant luxury vessel in front of me, painted with his family crest, speechless. So many rich people in the world. Why did I have to fall for one of them? Frederick pointed proudly at the ship. I bought another one. Thinking of naming it after you next. My legs went weak. Well, guess life's looking up. On the deck, he tried to teach me how to fish. Didn't really teach though. We ended up kissing more than casting. I didn't even realize we'd caught a fish. Later in the afternoon, he tried to show me how to sail. It was actually kind of fun. On Wednesday before clocking out, Frederick sent me a message. Come over to my place tonight. I'm cooking. You can cook? What, you don't think I can? So, once again, Frederick climbed into my beat-up $10,000 car. Why he always chose to ride with me when his garage was full of luxury cars, I'd never know. At a red light, I spotted the team lead from the other department. I yelled, Frederick, duck. Frederick didn't ask any questions, just obediently curled down like a turtle. It looked ridiculous. Once we passed the familiar street, he straightened up, looking wronged. I burst into laughter. He frowned. What's the big deal? It's not like you haven't driven me home before. That's called guilty conscience, I grinned. He sighed dreamily. I wonder when we'll stop hiding. I want to tell the whole world you're my husband. My hand jerked on the wheel, nearly ran a red light. Frederick Gingold. Don't say husband while I'm driving. He smirked. Struck a nerve, didn't I? In the kitchen, Frederick looked the part in an apron. Broad shoulders, slim waist, long legs. God help me. If he wore only the apron. Henry Thomas, it's broad daylight. Get a grip. But clearly, his mind wasn't clean either. He came up behind me with a spatula, whispering, "Want to try a little kitchen play?" I shot him a look. Shut up and cook. I'm hungry. He hummed a tune, clearly in a great mood. Wife, I'm so glad you finally stopped treating me like your boss. I cleared my throat and mimicked his tone. Yes, husband. His hands froze mid-stir. So you can flirt, but can't take it when I flirt back? After dinner, I pretended I was going to leave. Frederick tried to stop me. Just sleep here. My bed's huge. I picked up my car keys. He added, my bathtub's even bigger. Okay, fine. I wasn't that eager to leave. I dropped the keys and leapt into his arms. He caught me without missing a beat. He wasn't lying. Frederick Gingold's bathtub was massive. The next day, we both took half-days off. Slept in, showered together. When we came out, I was lying on top of him, trailing kisses across his chest. And that's when the bedroom door burst open. Not from a person. From a dog. A giant husky charged onto the bed like a missile. It must have thought I was attacking Frederick. It shoved me off him and launched into licking and cuddling him like a jealous lover. Frederick chuckled, ruffling the dog's head. ABC, calm down. He's your dad too. I blinked. Well, before I could even recover, I heard a man's voice from outside. Frederick, you home? Our eyes locked. I wanted to die. Thankfully, we were both wearing bathrobes. So, why did that man look so familiar? Frederick's expression darkened. Dad, what are you doing here? The man grinned, clearly amused. You youngsters sure live wild, huh? Playing hooky on a workday? He waved at me cheerfully. Don't mind me, carry on. I thought the dog bursting in was bad. But no, then came the father. Frederick looked apologetic. Sorry, but I didn't know my dad was going to drop by. That's your dad? Yeah. And just like that, the sky collapsed again. Frederick pointed to the husky. This is my dog. His name's ABC. He was at obedience school for a while. ABC happily trotted over and nudged my hand. By the time we were cleaned up and headed downstairs, Frederick's dad was already sitting in the living room, steeping tea. Frederick introduced me matter-of-factly. Dad, this is my boyfriend, Henry Thomas. I could barely lift my head. I bowed politely. Hello, sir. He poured me a cup of tea. Nice to meet you. I wasn't busy today, so I picked up the dog from school. Then he said, with all the subtlety of a freight train, didn't expect you two to be in the master bedroom. Ralph, Frederick cut in quickly. And suddenly it hit me, his dad's last name is Owen? Isn't that the chairman of our company? The one we only ever see at the annual gala? No wonder he looked so familiar. So Frederick Gingold isn't just our regional president, he's the heir to the company? Henry Thomas, huh? The chairman squinted at me. Why do you look familiar? A moment later, recognition flashed across his face. You're the employee of the year from last year. I gave you that award myself. You're talented, and now we're family. Want to be a president too? Please no. My legs nearly gave out. Frederick Gingold's dad was just too welcoming. A year later, Frederick transferred back to the company's headquarters. He told me that the reason he'd even been assigned to our branch in the first place was because he had come out to his family. His dad, in a fit of dramatic rage, sent him to the branch office. That's what rich people call a punishment? Then what am I, a team lead, supposed to be? Later, I took Frederick to visit my hometown. The night before, he was so nervous he couldn't fall asleep until 3 a.m. When I asked what was wrong, he said, I'm just nervous. It was actually kind of adorable. My parents loved him. But with his credentials, if they didn't, the sun might as well rise in the west. Victor and his wife had a baby girl. We attended the baby's 1-month banquet together. That night, Frederick got moody and aggressive. Victor's the straight guy you had a crush on, right? We'd first met sitting at the same table in a bar, and I had drunkenly spilled my past to him. To be fair, it's not like I was that into Victor. But karma sure circled back hard. I leaned in, stroking his cheek. Why are you digging up old drama? I love you the most. At the company's annual gala, everyone was buzzing with one question. Would Frederick Gingold bring a girlfriend? Meanwhile, I was huddled in a corner eating a mini cake, too afraid to speak. Amy Ray, decked out in a gorgeous gown, grabbed my wrist excitedly. Come on. Let me introduce you to a hottie. He's the manager from the Florida branch. Tall and handsome. I hesitated. Actually, I already have a. Just then, Frederick Gingold appeared, walking straight toward us. He smoothly pulled my wrist from Amy Ray's hand. He already has a hottie. Amy blinked. Who? Frederick slipped his arm around my waist and smirked. Me. Amy let out a squeal and scurried off in her heels. My phone buzzed with an explosion of messages. Henry, how dare you eat so well behind my back? It's just Mr. Gingold as hot in private as he is in public. Does he have abs? How many? Can you touch his pecs? You two are such a power couple. I turned to glance at Frederick, who was clearly still sulking with jealousy. Is he hot? 8-pack abs. Solid chest. Rich, and spoils me rotten. Head over heels in love with me. That kind of sweetness? Only I know what it tastes like. Bonus. Frederick Gingold's POV. We'd lost a project bid. I was in a foul mood and ended up at a bar. By chance, I shared a table with this stunning guy. He had this quiet, comforting vibe that made me want to talk. One drink led to another. And then, I realized something was wrong. Someone had spiked my drink. I had security with me, of course. But for some reason, I wanted to be close to him. The guy I just met. We ended up in bed, half drunk, half dazed. It was messy. Probably both of our firsts. But after that night, we kept seeing each other. I found myself looking forward to the weekends. As time went on, the arrangement wasn't enough. I wanted more. To know him. To be part of his life. When I discovered he worked for our family's company, that was fate, wasn't it? I became his boss. We had more reasons to see each other. And I finally admitted it to myself. I didn't just want to sleep with him. I liked him. Hell, maybe it started from the first moment I saw him. But he was so determined to keep things professional. He tried to end what we had. I panicked. Misunderstood him more than once. Eventually, I decided we'd start fresh. I was going to win him over. So I bought coffee and snacks for the whole company. Every time I saw him rubbing his neck, I sent out massage tools to everyone. And it worked. He became my husband. I love him so much. And he loves me more than I ever dared to hope. The end.
Thanks for stopping by. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.